All right, everybody. Well, one of the really cool, helpful hints as far as getting some tinder and starting a fire that I figured out is using a cotton ball soaked in Vaseline. Now, what I do is, you can see here, I put them in coffee filters, twist them up, and then put them in a Ziploc bag. Now this thing has been out all night and it rained a whole bunch early this morning. But since I had it sealed up, they're wet. Oh, the little dark area there, that's just the petroleum jelly that I put the cotton ball, put on the cotton ball. So I'm going to use both of these. And I have some firewood over here that I'm going to process. This is wood that I purchased at the little check-in registration center. So I'm going to process this stuff right here using a 13-inch Husqvarna little hand axe, just a very small axe. And you can see I just kind of rigged it up with some twine here to kind of keep the little blade cover on, otherwise it just falls right off. And then to process it further, I'll use my Mora Bushcraft carbon steel to do some batoning and feather sticking, stuff like that. Now this wood is very wet. You can see, let's see if we can zoom in here. You can see how wet it is. You zoom in, focus, right in here, there's moisture that just kind of built up as I hit it there. So put it back here and keep trying at it. Now, this is pine, so it is twisted and it's not very straight, but it is dry inside. In fact, it's almost got some fatwood properties in it. So you can see inside here, it's very dry. Now, splitting it's kind of tough. As you can see with the grain, it's not very straight. There's actually still some bark left on it. So, process this as much as I can. Okay, so with my small 13-inch Husqvarna axe here, I processed several pieces of wood here down into manageable chunks. So pieces that were this big here, split them down into this big here. Now, I have about 5 of these set aside, about this size. You know, it's about 2 inches by maybe 1.5 inches, and then this length. Now, once they get down to this small, working with an axe is a little bit difficult. So, I'm going to do a controversial move here, especially with a blade that's not full tang. I'm going to baton this stuff. And what I want is pieces like this, small little pieces that I can use to sort of help, accelerate the fire and build the fire. So the way I do it is I don't go right down the middle. If it's a big piece like this, I'll just go down to the size that I want. And since this wood is very, it's not very straight. It can be tough to get a good cut. So I'm just going to baton it down And then just get some little pieces. Hi! Little pieces right here. Now I don't want to baton this. So I don't know if you can see right here, there's this hole. I don't even want to mess with it. So I set that aside. But this one is relatively straight. So this one I'm going to go right down the middle because it's not too robust, it's not too thick. Right down the middle. Take my little stick here, find a good hold, all the way down, and then I'm going to baton this one as well. Now I want to get it as close to the handle as possible. I don't want to go way out here for two reasons. It's not full tang, so I kind of want to get the nice balance on it, but also I need to have some area here to hit the actual knife blade. Okay, now that should be good. Maybe one more little one right here. Okay, so now these pieces here are pretty nice. This is what I want to use to, I'm going to just do some feather sticking. Now I'm not any sort of feather sticking expert or anything like that. That's good enough for me. You know, it's not, you know, big time bushcrafter quality, but that's good enough for me. Okay, there we go. And just a couple more of these, and I should be good to go. What I want to do is make a little base. Now, I don't know what these little pieces are here, but get those out of here. I'm just going to lay down a base here, right here, and right here. I'll actually do it this way for the purpose of filming. There we go. Just a little base, and then put another one right in the middle here. And what I want to do is I want to keep some of these for adding on, and some of these for adding on, but I do want to break these up a little bit and build just a little tiny little base here. So what I have here, I'm just going to light up, is two of these little tinder bundles that I have, which are very easy. Coffee filter, and inside are some cotton balls soaked in, or just smeared with some petroleum jelly. So once I get those going, then I can add my smaller pieces of wood. Now I have a ferro rod that comes with the Mora Bushcraft. Let's see if I can get it going here. Oops. There we go. Once it catches that, it'll light right up. Now, since I have my little feather stick things, I can just put those right on top. They'll catch right away. Right on top here. And then I don't even need to play around. I can just start adding right here. Right here. Because this will burn really well. There. Right there. Once it gets up, built up big enough, then I can add the bigger pieces, the really big pieces. Well, that's it. Now the wood is fairly wet, but it should start pretty easily. So now that it's pretty much set, I can just put all of this wood back on here. And it should burn pretty well. I don't really care how I lay it down on here. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to let it burn until I'm done. There we go.